Alright, this is all you, Julio.
Okay.
And go.
Hey everybody, my name is Julio Salgado, Project Manager for Culture Strike. Welcome to another edition of Taco Talk, where we talk to some of your favorite activist artists, talk about the process while eating some tacos. For today's episode, we have El Paso artist, Zeke Peña. Hey! Thank you for being here today, man.
Thank you.
We are here in El Paso at Café Mayapan. So we're gonna dig into this soup, this sopa azteca, and then some tacos, and then we'll have some Q&A. How does that sound? Zeke?
Sounds great.
Are you okay with that? Are you comfortable with that arrangement?
I think I'm okay with it.
Thank you.
Right. One joy.
So that was delicious. That was amazing. I mean, you didn't cook, but you know, you took us here. As we mentioned, we're here out in El Paso. Dude, border city. It's a trip. For some of us who are not from border cities, it's like we're like in Mexico. I haven't been back to Mexico like in 21 years, but I have that, like getting into El Paso and hearing those norteño accents, like, cause I'm from Ensenada, so I'm like, "El muchacho, ¿cómo está muchacho?" It's a trip. What was it like to, grow up in this area?
I mean, it's beautiful in a lot of ways, I'm gonna go on the positive tip, it's like there are these two communities and it's very fluid. I mean, and it is very separated at this point, but there's so many families that live on both sides of the border. I felt like it was a little bit more fluid when we were younger. Being here in El Paso and in Juarez, we're very isolated in a lot of ways, right? So the biggest city is Burque, it's Albuquerque, so it's 3 hours away. Chihuahua's 4 hours to the south. That's what I love about being from here, is because it is isolated, we really have the opportunity to build here and build things in a way that we want to build them,
How has this, border culture, if we can call it that, influenced, your work?
The first thing I would say is like being in the desert. Just the environment itself to me has an impact on my work, and just it has an impact on the way we live our lives. Then in terms of the border, in terms of it being the United States and Mexico in this meeting place, I'll be straight up. I grew up on the United States with much privilege, right? My connection is via having that interaction and having that sense of connectedness, right, culturally, like knowing, look at me, like knowing, like, all right, I have this connection to it culturally. But then there's also this interesting thing where you're kind of in the middle, right? It's being in the middle. It's that classic like ansaldua thing, right?
We were driving around, there's like a high school, and like from the football field, you see El Juarez, you see the other country. So like you grew up like watching, like Mexico as a background, and that's gonna be a huge thing. You did a project at the border, the waterfront project?
Waterbound.
Waterbound. So tell us about that project.
The Waterbound project was basically looking at the role of water on the border, specifically in terms of migration, looking at water as being a human right as opposed to it being the right of a citizen. There was a participatory installation where we asked people from the community to write messages on the water jugs, and then delivered those water jugs to organizations that are along the border in Arizona, in the valley, to then deliver those jugs out onto the migration routes. So it was really interdisciplinary. It was painting, but also participatory. There was also a web page that went along with it, documenting the process of research.
Zeke was also one of the artists for Visions from the Inside, and one of the goals with that project, approach the issue of people who are detained, who are in detention centers, without using them as subjects. Because I feel a lot of the times when artists or organizations, they tend to like tokenize a lot of these experiences. Absolutely. And I feel, as an undocumented person who's, a lot of times people will reach out to you and like, oh, I wanna draw you, I wanna use you as my subject, I wanna interview you. It's like way too easy for artists to do that.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's important for artists to realize the fact that you come in with privilege, to work on the subjects. How do you work around that issue? And how was that, experience with Visions?
I mean, that's something I've been trying to think a lot about is what does it mean, how to tactfully try to work in these issues, right? And intention, right? We're always talking about like intention, right? We got to think about that, because it is easy to Google an image, find an image, find a photo, flip it, do this thing, right? Yeah. But I feel like I want to be doing more, you know what I mean?
What are you currently working on right now?
We have a really great opportunity here in the city of El Paso with the Museum and Cultural Affairs Department. And they're one of the few I guess, cities that, at least in Texas, that issue grants directly to artists for the creation of new work. So I received one of those grants, and it'll be somewhat of a continuation of the Waterbound project, but it's really now just looking specifically at the border and collecting people's stories about the river, and really looking at how generationally that relationship to the river has changed because of border militarization, right? The river is supposed to be a place where we unite, right? Like in nature, it's where the bear goes to drink, it's where the deer goes to drink, it's where the human goes to drink, right? So it's a meeting place. But our river here has been militarized and has become synonymous with the border, with the wall, right? Not having access to that thing that could have such an important and significant place in terms of their person, right? Culturally, identity, all of these things. It has many implications. So that's gonna be Bravo Grande is the name of that project. That's what I'll be, working on next.
And where can people find your work?
Oh, okay, so
all the social medias.
Oh yeah, so pretty much everything is ZP Visual or ZP Visual. It's .com. Yeah, .com. At ZP Visual, Instagram, and
dude, I be following his Instagram. Like dope. I'm like a stalker of this artist that we're interviewing. Anything else? Any last remarks? Before I gotta eat my last taco.
No, I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak, and grateful for all of the projects and the friendships and stuff, and hanging out, and
hang out.
Glad y'all came to the border,
We're glad we're out here. Hang out with other artists. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us to Café Mayapan. And we'll see you later for the next episode of Taco Talk. Adios. I'm gonna eat tacos. Eat your other taco.